All right. How cool is Raymond Loewy, right? I'm just hoping that thing doesn't fall off. I think it's good. Right? Right? Hair?
It's interesting. Some people said
Well, he did have like a team of...
he was kind of... They were talking, some people, which I'll have to find.
When you think about it, it was not just his...
They were talking how he was kind of more... He didn't change designs crazy.
Happy Saturday! Yeah.
Oh, man. He didn't do so much for design work, he just kind of changed stuff around.
Ooh. I don't know about that. Am I on the internet?
It'll pop up in a second.
Okay, I'm on the internet. All right, my friends. You are listening to the Bad Blonde Radio Show on News Talk KEUIS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM, Corpus Christi, Texas. Brought to you by Competition Sounds. Thanks, Competition Sounds. Really appreciate that. And today is a mighty good day. I'm going to tell y'all in a bit, regardless if Chad asks me if it's a good day or not. But Chad, why is it a good day for you? My favorite co-host.
I'm going to drop my first YouTube video today.
That is exciting.
Kaboom.
Did you finally figure out your editing process that I messed up last night?
Some of it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that.
Uh-huh.
Put one, show people how to fix some cars and stuff.
You are putting in a fuel send unit on the XKE, is that correct?
I was able to fix the one that was in it, but, you know, I'd always watch these YouTube videos and be like, look at these suckers making these videos showing me how to fix stuff. I was like, what a waste of time. I can't believe they're doing this.
And then here you are.
And then I found out that some of these guys are making like, you know, $1 million a year.
Buku dollars. Let me tell you what.
So I'm the sucker.
All right, now enough about you. Why don't you ask me about me?
I was about to.
Yeah? All right, guys. Well, today is a good day for me because for the first half of the hour, we're going to be talking about a gentleman named Raymond Loewy, okay? A famed industrial designer, coined the father of industrial design, the father of streamlining. He's kind of a big deal. And even more exciting, at the bottom of the hour, we are going to have two of our guest judges on the show. The two gentlemen from the Hobbs Hot Rod Run, which is David Hobbs and John Frost. They're going to tell us all about how they raised $100,000 for Driscoll Children's Hospital. That's a lot of money.
I think I made a mistake, though.
What?
I thought that you told me that we were going to talk about Leonard Nimoy.
Who's that?
Spock.
For the first half of the hour, we can talk about him instead of Raymond.
I'm not going to be much help.
Well, I mean, is there going to be much of a change on there? Is that not?
Did you know that Leonard Nimoy came up with the Vulcan salute himself?
Which is this thing, where your hands are like this?
Yeah, the V.
Oh no, I did not know that. And that's it.
Which one are we going to talk about?
We are talking about Raymond Loewy, but you also interrupted me while I was talking about what we're doing for the other half of the show.
Sorry.
Yeah, come on, man. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. So at the bottom half of the hour, we're going to be popping for Beer 30, some Nueces Brewing Company, a beer that I'm going to make our guests pronounce because I genuinely don't know how to pronounce it. Plus, we're going to talk a little bit about the Corpus Christi Car Show, which is coming up on April the 24th. It should be a lot of fun. It's around the corner. And I have a list. Ooh, I'm going to look up the list. Rodney from 1440 Keys sent me a list of what cars we already have. It's a good showing. We already got like a lot of cars that I'm really excited about it. And also, I do want to bring up, before we really dive into everything, I want to bring up that the Birdiest Fest is approaching, all right? The Birdiest Festival is kind of a big deal for anybody that's a birder, which is me. That's me. That's who I'm talking about. The Birdiest Festival is April the 21st to the 25th. You can find out more information on birdiestfestival.org. Now, the really cool thing is I'm telling everybody about this, the Jonathan Wood Project Raptor project is awesome. It's got all types of birds of prey. You can take a photo with Uncle Sam, who is a recovered bald eagle. He was recovered, what would you call that? Rehabilitated. He was injured, and now he's better, but he cannot be wild because I don't think he has half a wing or something like that.
Yeah, it's hard to fly.
Yeah, he got hit by a car. Also, April's going to be pretty bombast. Buck Days Festival is coming up. With all the festivities, the Parade Pachanga, Rodeo, Wings Over South Texas, and more.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
I know. Should we get started?
Can't believe you don't know who Leonard Nimoy is.
I wasn't going to immediately get that. That's out of my time period. That's out of my age range.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to talk about Leonard Nimoy? How do you say his name?
Leonard Nimoy.
Do you want to talk about Leonard,
No,
or do you want to talk about
we'll
Raymond
talk about
Loewy?
I can't believe we got our messages crossed on that.
I know darn well you did research on Raymond Loewy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, guys, we're going to talk about Raymond Loewy. I'm really excited about this. Certain people really piqued my interest, and he did. All right. So Raymond Loewy made a genuine impact on design across the widescape of different products and industries. Like, honestly, the press at the time referred to him, which is kind of a bit. I feel like the one I'm about to say is a little too much, but I'm gonna say it anyways. They referred to him as the man that shaped America, and the father of industrial design, and the father of streamlining. I think I much prefer the father of streamlining because that is what he did. He kind of introduced the idea of making a product prettier.
And I was reading from those descriptions.
We are not talking about Spock anymore, young man.
Leonard Nimoy was not. That Raymond Loewy also, a lot of people thought of him kind of as P.T. Barnum-esque in his salesmanship for his designs and stuff. So he was also part promoter.
Oh yeah.
Which obviously helped himself in.
100%.
In his fame.
Yes. So this guy, and Chad's correct on that. I'm gonna, and a little later when we get into kind of the early start of his career with industrial design, he did a very clever promotion that's very similar to that. So this guy is the guy that transformed the locomotive, the Greyhound bus. He designed our modern sewing machines. Like, literally, my sewing machine looks like it does because of him. And popcorn machines. He designed anywhere, and he had a lot to do with logos that are currently still in use. All right, now anywhere from Exxon to BP to TWA to Shell, all of that. That's a big deal. The list is long, and the odds of you looking at one of his designs some point during your day today is very high. His career was over 70 years long, so it is not surprising that many of his designs are still in use and visible.
The glass Coca-Cola bottle that is so iconic.
That was him?
Yeah.
Man, see, it's funny because I did a lot of research, but there's so much that he did that it's very easy to miss. And at one point, he was on the cover of Time magazine. How weird is that? Have you ever, who's on the cover of Time magazine anymore?
Not anybody that I don't care to talk about.
Caitlyn Jenner. Okay. Not an industrial designer. No.
He was very influential, and yeah, his designs you still see. And what would you call that style? Like, to me, it kind of reminds me of Art Deco.
I was going to say a lot of it Art Deco as well.
Modern.
Yeah.
Modernism.
Yeah, I can see all that. He kind of designed things that were pretty timeless, and I think I'm gonna butcher his quote, but he said something along the lines of a design that becomes what did he say? It was no design should become obsolete, something along those lines. Basically,
yeah, this guy designed everything. He designed lawn chairs. He designed tea sets.
How cool!
He designed kitchen. He kind of missed it on the pencil sharpener. He kind of just made a streamlined pencil sharpener. It's still a cool looking pencil sharpener, but it just looks like a fast pencil sharpener.
Right.
But he's basically like a modern day Martha Stewart, but he actually is designing. He's actually designing all his own stuff.
Right. That's hilarious. Oh my God, that is really an interesting connection right there. Well, let's start at the beginning, shall we? Raymond, let's start where he was born, all right? He was born in 1983 in Paris.
Paris.
Paris. And as a teenager, he successfully designed and patented a model airplane. You know those ones that you know what I'm talking about? It's like it flies via rubber band.
Mm.
He's the guy that made that to start with. And that's pretty enterprising at such a young age. Then he went on to study engineering in Paris, and then he took a brief pause during World War I, which kind of everything and everyone took a pause of normal life for World War I. And he served in the French Army for 4 years. He got wounded and received the, I wanted to say this because I wanted to try and say it, because I didn't study, at no point have I studied French. I think it's the Christi.
You have to sound more whiny, I think.
Damn it, you're right.
The Christi.
But anyways, he got a very admirable award, left the French Army, and after the war, he promptly began his American journey. He came over to New York. It was 1919, and he began his career. Do you know how he began his career?
Well, one of them was he was a window designer.
That's what I was gonna say.
So for people that don't know, I guess back along in the 50s, whenever they would hire people to design
before people had the internet to see,
Yeah, well, you could describe it probably better than me.
You
Being
go
a
ahead.
female shopper.
Oh, okay. So what Chad's talking about is department store windows. Now, how you got a shopper in during that day and age? I mean, yeah, they had let's say what are the little paper advertisements back then? I can't think of the proper word for it, but a lot of the times you got somebody in your doors because of what your department store windows looked like.
Yeah, this was when brick and mortar stores was basically all you had. So somebody walking by and you got a really nice design, they're going to stop and go in.
And that's how he made his money. He's doing that for literally Macy's and Saks and all that fun stuff.
This guy's way more interesting than Leonard Nimoy.
Auntie?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
We
Good. I'm glad we did too. All right, guys. Aiden is giving me the old break it off sign. That means we are going to take a short break, and we will be back talking all about Raymond Loewy, the father of streamlining. Why is it so hot in here all the time?
No. How did all the microphones get switched? That's supposed to be yours. That's supposed to be mine. That's supposed to go there.
Oh, that's funny. I have no idea. Do you want to? Here you go. I thought mine sounded different. I don't know. That one I thought did it sound scratchy to you, or is it just me?
This one sounds scratchy.
You know why? Because nobody was sitting there.
Well, this is always how it's supposed to be.
Okie dokie. All right.
Yeah, we have to do more on Raymond Loewy. He actually really is interesting.
He's super fascinating. I think we can do 30 minutes.
Well, I mean, then maybe another show or whatever.
I'd be game.
Or talk about him when those other guys come on. So, but he is actually really interesting. He was in everything. He did hair dryers.
Yeah. Like everything. Lucky Strike.
I guess the
Cigarettes.
biggest one is the post office. Is probably the one.
It's still there, isn't it? That's still what we use.
Yeah. Which I think is probably his most, I guess, probably recognizable. Oh, did you see that 507 BMW?
No, let me look at it.
He bought a BMW 507 and took the body off.
God.
And designed it himself. It kind of looks like a BMW body.
Well, that makes sense.
It's not the best look. It is interesting. There's only one of them out there.
Oh, you're right. I mean, the 507 was beautiful to start with.
I don't think he did it any favors.
No, I don't think so either. But he made it his own. Oh, the headlights are horrible.
It reminds me of like a weird of a
popping up headlights. Yeah, seriously.
I really did think.
I'll let you talk about that.
We got so much other stuff.
I know.
We don't need to talk about this one off.
I'm gonna get him through how he was an illustrator for Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, and then talk about how he ended up in industrial design.
Yeah, you probably need to go through the industrial design of all he did and then the Avanti.
I might let you take some of the, I didn't list out all the industrial design thing. I listed out how he got into it initially. And I'll let you take it away as you wish.
List all of them.
My nails are disgusting. Why is this so hot in this room?
Oh no, you have to have an air conditioner. Ask Aiden.
Aiden! He's playing the air guitar.
He looks like he's playing the guitar. He's air drum. It is.
We is back on. Remember that those guys are going to be calling to come in, okay? Remember that those guys are going to be calling to come in pretty soon, okay? Okay. All right, my friends. You are back listening to the Bad Blonde Radio Show on News Talk KUIS, 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. That's right. We're on the FM now. That's kind of a big deal. Coming to you from Corpus Christi, Texas, and brought to you by Competition Sounds. Thanks, Competition Sounds. And where we left off is we were talking about the man behind industrial design, the father of streamlining, possibly the man that shaped America, the Raymond Loewy. We're talking about how he served in the French Army and War, and then he finally made his way over to America, where he was the designer for department store windows for the likes of Macy's and Saks. Now, let's really get into where he became an industrial designer. This is super fascinating, all right? So it was how he started was contemporizing the Gestetner duplicating machine, which is, did I say that right?
Sounds good to me.
Right, yeah, okay, that's fine. So basically, this was the predecessor of a copier. This was the first Xerox before anybody had ever heard of Xerox, all right? And what Loewy did was make this machine look less like a torture device. If you Google it, it's going to look like something that you put somebody's head in and then you start squeezing. It's super confusing. Now, what he did was he took that machine and streamlined it. He made it look less imposing. It made it look like a machine that you would find in 1929 in an office space. And then, even more ballsier, he went ahead and took a before and after photo of that machine and created his business card. And what that said was, between two products equal in price, function, and quality, the better looking will outsell the other.
That's true.
Mic drop. Yeah, like everybody looked at that and they're like, oh my God. Can we make our product, like every product manufacturer looked at that business card and said, damn, maybe this is an option for us. And that is how he became, that was his first stepping stone in becoming the father of industrial design.
And design he did.
Yes, he did. Tell everybody what he did, Chad.
And also he looks like he's Tony Stark's dad.
He really does. And he's got that like very Frenchy mustache going on.
Well, he designed a lot of stuff. He did tractors.
Yeah.
Which was a really iconic, I can't find the
for
tractor.
International Harvester.
Yeah.
I mean, he made,
super iconic design, even when you think of tractors. Probably one of the biggest, the most famous that everyone is going to know is he did the United States Postal Services.
And we still have that. We
design
still,
with the eagle that we're still using.
He changed it it was a horse and a carrier behind on the horse, and now it's an eagle.
He did trains, streamlined trains. He did Greyhound buses, and he did, what did he do on Air Force One?
Oh, Kennedy pulled him in to work on Air Force One's, the outside logo and everything for Air Force One.
Did he do the blue or what?
He did the blue.
Wow.
I know, it's kind of a big deal. He also got, in the 70s, he got yanked in to do the NASA, and I'm getting ahead of myself. I am, like I like to do, the NASA Space Lab. How cool is that? basically for the Apollo missions, he was pulled in to make the space lab comfortable and enjoyable for astronauts. All right.
Cool.
All right, let's get back to the history timeline. All right, so after he did that business card, he boomed. His career boomed, and he started working for the likes of Sears, Roebuck, Westinghouse, and Hutt Motor Company. And I'm just going to digress for a hot jump and a skip. All right, the Hutt Motor Car Company, pretty cool. He designed, and the Huttmobile that he designed was a pretty looking car. If you want to see it, just Google Hutt Cycle Fender and Hutt Aerodynamic. Very, very pretty. Now, in the 30s, Pennsylvania Railroad would hire him on to streamline their fleet.
Streamline their feet.
Yeah.
He chopped off the toes.
Yeah.
Angled them.
That is some streamlining. And back then, honestly, if you were working for railroads, you were banking. That's where all the money was. He did a lot of designs for Pennsylvania Railroad. Too many for me to list, frankly. And then, this is when I get really interested. In 1936, Loewy's long relationship with Studebaker would begin. The first cars you would see designed by Loewy, along with Studebaker's principal designer, his name was Virgil Exner. We don't name people cool names anymore, like Virgil Exner.
Everybody's like
Tom Tompkins.
Tom Tompkins. Yeah, everybody's Tom Tompkins.
So, this is where I'm going to start talking about Studebaker for a while, guys. An interesting thing, so he was on retainer for Studebaker for a very, very long time. Now, World War II would come around, and Studebaker actually was able to still work on cars. You see, when World War II came along, our government actually restricted in-house design departments from working on civilian cars. It's kind of weird to hear that, but I guess they just really wanted all the focus on the war, which makes sense when you're fighting Nazis. I get it.
Nazis.
However, because Studebaker did not have an in-house design. Well, they did have an in-house design team, but Loewy was on a retainer. He was an out of the house Studebaker designer. That meant during this whole time, Studebaker was actually able to start creating a car while the big three couldn't. Like Ford, Chrysler, and GM were not able to design any cars for when the war ended during that time period. Boom. It was a big deal. And that's how they were able to create the first all-new post-World War II automobile in 1947. It's a combination of Studebaker and Loewy working together.
Yeah, they made some cool cars.
He really did. And also he revamped the Studebaker logo, incorporating that lazy S design, which we have. We have a 1941 Studebaker in our shop right now, and it has that. It's kind of, like you had said earlier, his designs is like streamlined and kind of Art Deco and modernism. It has an Art Deco feel to it.
He was a jack of all trades, for sure, because not only was he a vehicle designer, train designer, but he's also like a really successful graphic designer.
Right?
So
there was nothing he didn't do.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular fella.
Yeah, no, exactly. So and not to digress away from Studebaker too much, because I still got to tell you about some of the stuff he did. He would assist in creating the Starlight body. This body had a rear window that wrapped 180 degrees around the rear seat, which is pretty darn cool. He also helped with the well-known Studebaker bullet nose of the early 50s. We all know that bullet nose.
It's iconic, yeah.
It is iconic. Like it's it's amazing that he's created so many, like he's helped design all these cars that are really do make an imprint.
Looks like a MiG fighter jet.
Exactly. Also, he made the Starlight. Now the Starlight is still, or he just helped design, I should say that. You know, Studebaker with Virgil, their principal designer, Virgil Exner, he assisted in that. It wasn't just all Loewy. Okay, but he created the Starlight, which is still considered one of the best designed vehicles of the 50s.
George has one of those.
He actually has a Skyhawk.
Yeah.
I know. Which only 3,050 of those were ever produced.
That's a good looking car.
It's such a good looking car. So we all show, because I feel like we're about to run out of we're about to run out of time, but I do want to say, oh, there's already music. How did I get so good at this? He created logos for Exxon, Shell, BP, TWA, Nabisco, Quaker, and Postal Service. Now, I do want to say, everybody stay tuned. We're about to have a very fun bottom of the hour Beer 30 with Noasis Brewery beers and talking to the guys of the Hobbs Hot Rod Run.